ever been a director that you loved their work, but you felt like they just got stuck in a rut doing the same thing over and over again? Well, that's what we are talking about today. We're looking at 10 directors that we love, but we want to see them do something different. This is not my list. This is me reacting to an article over on Collider. You can check out the article at the link down below in the description. Let's react. While I'm talking, be sure to join me down below in the comment section and let me know who's a director that you love, but you want to see them do something different. They've been doing the same thing too long. They need to try something new. Who's that director? Let me know down below in the description. Also, if you enjoy this type of content or my channel in general, please consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. Patreon is my membership site where I do weekly Q&As, I have a box office show, and the series Reaction Time where I react to articles that my patrons send in to me to react to. The best way to support the channel or get more access to me and more content from my channel is by supporting me, joining over on Patreon. The link is down below in the description. For as little as $2 per month, you get access to all of the exclusives. There's a tier where you can do video chats with me, one-on-one video chats with me, and for $5 a month, you can have my name, your name on my end card. Now I'm getting confused, talking too much. Your name on my end card. The information's down below in the description, and let's get to looking at their list. First up, they have Denis Villeneuve, and their pitch: try something warm, character-driven, and funny. I've got quite a few feelings here. Right off the bat, I think Denis Villeneuve is one of the best working directors today. Very consistently puts out top 10 of the year movies. Great stuff. And currently, he's lined up after he does the next Dune movie to go on to do the next Bond film, which I'm very excited to see that. I, generally speaking, like some of what you're saying here. A flat out saying, do I want him to do a comedy, something like directly saying funny? I'm not sure that's what I want, because there's this a side to it to say that if you're not funny, you shouldn't try and be funny. And if you've got a guy that's put out quite a few movies and none of them lean into comedy, he's probably just not a funny guy. Like, and if you do interviews with him, he's a pretty warm guy, like smiles, he's got a good energy to him, but that doesn't mean he's funny. So I think comedy's one, it's difficult to say, hey, you should do a comedy. If you're not a comedy person, you shouldn't do a comedy. But in particular, like he did Blade Runner, and then 3 Dunes, and then Bond, 5 franchise movies in a row, and 4 of them sci-fi, and then 1 of them big adventure spectacle, whatever, Bond spy film. I think Bond might be exactly, it's not small, but I think inherently it probably does a bit of this. That it gives you something that has a different energy to it. It's Bond movies inherently are more fun. Like, you don't think, ooh, Arrival, Sicario, so fun. Blade Runner, fun. Even the Dune movies, they're not fun. Bond movies are fun. And so I think maybe the thing that he has next, I think could potentially do this. I want him to do another original film or get back to Arrival, Sicario, Prisoners, like, go back to what he was doing a decade ago. That's what I want him to do after Bond. Greta Gerwig, give us horror or science fiction. I think this is a bizarre pick to say. Full disclosure, I've never actually seen Lady Bird. I've never seen Lady Bird, but I have seen Little Women and Barbie. Little Women and Barbie are very different movies. Like, Little Women and Barbie, like, in the sense that both of them have, like, they're female-centric, they're exploring the experience of women, they are similar. Outside of that, Little Women and Barbie are like, woo! They're very different. And next she's doing Narnia. I don't know exactly when this article was written, but Narnia, my issue with it is not that it's a different genre, but it's that she has such a women-centric messaging flavor to her work that I just don't want. Like, Greta Gerwig brings Greta Gerwig ideas into projects, and that's what we love about them. That's the exact opposite of what you want from an adaptation of C.S. Lewis. But, like, she does different genres. So, horror, that seems pretty different. Fantasy, Narnia is wildly different from Barbie. So she is doing something different. I'm kind of mad about it. But, this just feels like a weird pick because she's not a director that's stuck in a niche. Like, I better understand being like, Denis Villeneuve is too much in serious mode. I get that more so than Greta Gerwig being monotonous because Barbie is so tonally different from Little Women. Today's video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Going online without ExpressVPN is like not closing the door when you use the bathroom. Even if you think you have nothing to hide, why give random creeps a chance to invade your privacy? So why do you need a VPN? Because all of your traffic flows through servers, internet service providers, including mobile network providers, and they know every single website that you visit. And in the US, ISPs are legally allowed to sell that information to advertisers. ExpressVPN reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure, encrypted servers so your ISP can't see your browsing history. So why is ExpressVPN the best VPN? It hides your IP address, making it extremely difficult for third parties to track your online activity. It's extremely easy to use. You just open the app, click one button, and you're protected. And it works on all devices, laptops, phones, tablets, and more. You can stay private on the go. I have been an ExpressVPN paying user for a while now. I travel a lot. ExpressVPN was the right cost, super easy to use, and it didn't slow down my browsing of the internet. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/Chandler. That's expressvpn.com/Chandler to find out how you can get your 4 extra months. expressvpn.com/Chandler. Robert Eggers, Just for Once, Leave the Past. I will go with yes on this one. I will agree with this one. That Robert Eggers, his movies are very Robert Eggers movie, and so much of that is there in the past. They are desaturated and they're dead serious. I think there is room for like, all right, man, let's move it to the present day. Let's change it up. I'm not crazy about his stuff, but I respect it and I find that his work interesting. So yeah, let's bring it to the modern day. Let's see what he can do in the world that he actually lives in. Number 7, Christopher Nolan, give us something minimalistic and quiet. I'll say let's give us a horror movie. I want a horror movie from Nolan. Let's see what he would do with that. I will, first off, I'll say Nolan has tremendous variety. There is a little bit of Nolan cerebralness to them, maybe a tonal similarity, but Interstellar, space, sci-fi, like let's do sci-fi but study wormholes, followed by World War II war movie. Not the same. Followed by spy movie with weird time logic, a sci-fi bent. Very different. Sci-fi, but not interstellar sci-fi at all. And then Oppenheimer. Science drama. Historical drama. These are very different movies. Oh yeah, that's right. He also did 3 Batman movies. So he has a lot of, in that regard, variety, and he's changed up. So, but what I do agree with here is I want him to go back to like Memento. Go back to like smart, small Nolan. What would he do with horror? I'm really interested in that. And maybe start working with his brother again. Now, both his brother's taken off, has his own career, fallout, but like getting back to them toying around and like instead of big and large, Odyssey, epic. Let us see him do something small again. I do agree with that. That minimalist, I don't know if I'd go with the word quiet, but small is the word that I would go with. Go back to just real sharp, tight little idea. And like I said, that's where you like Nolan's like smarts, cerebral thinking, his obsession with time. What could he do with a horror concept? That's when I think I want Nolan to do something different. That's where my brain goes. So kind of disagree that wouldn't say that he's monotonous or stuck in a rut, but also that sense, yes. Sofia Coppola, gotta call myself out on this one. I'm not familiar enough with enough of Sofia Coppola's work to be able to chime in, to have an opinion at all. So have to just skip over this one. Jordan Peele, let the horror rest for now. 100%. Jordan Peele is turning himself into the new M. Night Shyamalan, which is to say, came out of the gate, in both of them kind of thrillers, smart scripts, twists, like a lot of similarities between M. Night and Jordan Peele. And then M. Night got stuck only doing these like thrillers with twists. He got stuck with it. And when he tried to break out, it was like something was broken with him. And he does After Earth and Avatar, Last Airbender. But like his movie before Sixth Sense was like a religious dramedy with Rosie O'Donnell. He wrote Stuart Little. Like, he did other things. I think he did a draft on a version of Indiana Jones or something like that. He was courted to do it. Like, he was a guy that used to do other things and then got stuck. And that's what's happening to Jordan Peele. Remember, Jordan Peele rose to prominence with Key and Peele. And you can still go pull, like, I pull up Key and Peele skits all the time. And it's not just that he wrote really funny skits. He himself is a really funny, hilarious performer. And years before Get Out, quoted him, watched the bits all the time. He had a 10, 15-year-long career as the funny guy. And then Get Out was so good, it hijacked his career. So it's really, it's not even difficult to imagine what else could Jordan Peele do? What could he write? What could he perform? I just, no, you already know what it is. It's already right there. And it's almost just going back to that other thing. And I think you get stuck in, this is the thing that worked, and it was so celebrated, you get stuck in a rut. And I felt that with both of his last two movies of just all right, hey man, there's something in here that's really good, and there's stuff in here where you're forcing it. You're trying too hard to do Get Out again, and it's not as good in either one of these times because it's not as organic. Do something different. Break out of it. Stop trying to do Get Out again. Totally agree with this one. Barry Jenkins. I don't know if this is one example of someone being in a rut so much as I think this is a tricky, it's a tricky one because he did these small personal dramas. And then he did Mufasa, which is a huge change of pace. Scope, size, franchise, technology, but it was almost too different. And he put out all sorts of stuff that it seemed like he really didn't enjoy the process at all, which makes sense. If you're used to working right over here with people, and then you're spending years working with Mickey Mouse and 1,000 animators. They're both filmmaking, but they're two very different experiences. I don't know what he should do, but like these are, yeah, it's almost like what's the middle ground between this? And maybe it is exactly what they're talking about of dystopian sci-fi. Maybe that's the direction to go. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on what he should do. David Lowery. This is another one where I feel like David Lowery has done quite a bit. And maybe all of it has a certain somberness to it, but like thing I most know him for is Pete's Dragon, which I've seen many times. Kind of uplifting Disney live action of sorts. But then he also did The Green Knight, which is like dream logic, trippy, weird, like what is happening here? Like totally different genre. And so like a guy that has done many different things, came back around, did Peter and Wendy, which is more straightforward again. So I don't know. They want pure comedy. I don't feel like he's stuck in a rut, so I don't need him to do something different. Like he's doing different things. Quentin Tarantino, trade gangsters for galaxies or magic. This is another one where like Quentin Tarantino is like hasn't done a gangster movie in almost 30 years. Like that's what he did in the 90s, and then he did Kill Bill, Inglourious Bastards, Grindhouse, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, and then a hangout movie in Hollywood. Like he's done like Western, martial arts film, World War II movie, like hangout movie like these are very different things. But you know, wanting him to do something that's more, I don't know, fantastical. I think maybe trading gangsters for grounded for fantastical maybe would be a better way to phrase that. I don't want that from Quentin Tarantino. I don't see that. I didn't even, like, as a huge Star Trek fan and a huge Quentin Tarantino fan, I was confused by him trying to do a Star Trek movie a while back. I just don't see it. Like, it feels like a weird, odd mashing. So, I don't feel like I need Quentin Tarantino to do something different from what he's doing. He has genre differences, and the thing that I enjoy about his movies is the Quentin Tarantino-isms that he brings to gangster movies, martial arts movies, war, Western, Hollywood. That's what I enjoy. And so he's doing what I think he should do. Final one on here, Wes Anderson, and let's just give this one a gigantic amen on this one. My wife and I don't watch like a ton of Wes Anderson. Anytime we're at a theater, a trailer for a Wes Anderson movie comes up, she goes, "Is this Wes Anderson, right? This is that guy, right?" And it's not that she's a cinephile at all, but Wes Anderson is like so tunnel vision on one style, one energy, one vibe, one everything. Like it's all these quirky characters, all the same framing. If ever there was a director that you could do a style parody of, it's Wes Anderson, because it's all so monotonous and will like change everything, like the genre or whatever, but it all still feels the same. This is there's a reason I've not done a Wes Anderson director ranking yet. It is 100% because I tried to. And to do one of these rankings, I try and watch all the movies in a short window of time, and it was just like eating the same meal over and over and over again. I just couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't watch all of his movies in the amount of time that I had. And maybe that's to say that I need to like, okay, he's got a movie coming out in a year, and I'll watch one per month or something. Like, find a better way to do it. That maybe that's the way to make it happen. But I mean, I think it's a guy that I feel like we'll never really fully know his potential because it's like just so zeroed in, locked in on one thing. And I read, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory, but like the reason that happens is that he has a backer that basically funds him to make everything a passion project. And that's why they don't need to make money. It's all his backer. I don't know if that's true. I literally within the last week or so read or saw something that said that. And I went, that explains it on a practical level why this has happened. But on a creative level, I don't understand why he wouldn't go like, I'm going to stop making Wes Anderson movies and I'm just going to make a movie. All right. Warner Brothers, I want to let me start pitching for a franchise. Let me just see if I can just make a movie that's not just soaked in me. I think Wes Anderson really needs to do that. And if he did that, I'm literally going to do a franchise movie. And it can have almost none of me in it. I'm supposed to serve the franchise and then do a genre movie that it can have some of him in it, but it needs to be mainstream. And then he comes back and he does, I'm going to do another Wes Anderson. I bet it would be better because it's like having a break and you come back to it a different person and all your ideas refreshed. That would be good for him. Sometimes it's good, just to do work that's outside of your normal routines of the way that you think about them, and you break from that. I have to do it your way. I have to work in these constraints. All right, now I'm free again. All right, with everything I've learned, with how I'm a different person, now let me do another Wes Anderson. I would think that would be so good for him to do that, but if he's got a backer, why would he ever do that? Surprise, Shyamalan's not on this list. Yeah, he's the obvious one. Well, I mean, earlier in the list, when I talked about Jordan Peele, I talked more about M. Night than I did about Jordan Peele. And the whole point was, be careful, Jordan. Don't become the next Shyamalan. Shyamalan is the obvious one. The guy that, they literally did a Newsweek article when Signs came out saying the new Spielberg. And he was on top of the world. Signs made $1 bazillion. And then it's for over 20 years now, he's just fallen off from that. All right, let me know which directors do you think are stuck in a rut and they need to change things up, and what should they do? Let me know your picks down below in the comment section and keep talking.